same knowledge. Our third pair is quantitative versus qualitative. As the name itself suggests, quantitative, the word itself says, which involves quantity. So when the data use is quantitative, the conclusions are based on quantitative data, then the research is called as quantitative. Um, how do we decide whether we are going to do a quantitative research or qualitative research? It depends on our problem or research purpose. If suppose I want to you know see a causal relationship, etc., where I need objective quantitative information, then quantitative research is much easier. For example, when we use questionnaires, most of our questionnaires do give quantitative reports, like at the end, the report would be this much of you know percentile rank, normative descriptions, but they are always quantitative. So this person has uh, above average anxiety or below average anxiety, but even those grades, they are actually based on scores. We have the scores which can be used. So that is quantitative data. If we are using quantitative data, it becomes a quantitative research. Even in projective tests like Rorschach test, the answers, understand, because projective tests are like they're open-ended, right? There are no set options that you have to choose your answer from. So the answers are descriptive, but many a times in many projective tests, or maybe in most projective tests, later on during drawing conclusions or drawing, the profile of that person, the descriptive answers are quantified. So later on, the someone who is actually scoring that test would put like these many responses in this much time, and you know uh, categorize the responses, like was the answer about space aspect or form or color and movement. So in the end they would be quantified, some quantification would be available. So again, these tests, though the responses are not quantitative, the results are quantitative, and they can be used for quantitative researches. An important aspect of quantitative data is statistical analysis can be done on quantitative data. So we can draw conclusions using statistics from the quantitative data. So that this is in most pure sciences like physics, chemistry, they deal with quantitative data only, because their variables are objective. They are not humans. They are very predictable. They you know they work with mass, volume, mm, chemicals, protons, neutrons. So obviously it's quantifiable, hence quantitative research. The some of the methods typically used for quantitative data or quantitative research are questionnaires, scales, any physical measurements. An example would be effect of certain counseling session on panic attack or on certain disorder, that can be quantified because for example, the number of sessions and its effect on frequency of panic attacks, right? So most of the researches we do in psychology nowadays are mostly quantitative. Qualitative researches are there, but most of the time uh, we focus more on quantitative data, and there would be some supportive qualitative data and some qualitative analysis at the end. But pure qualitative researches are not common, especially not in India. They are picking up speed. They are you know they are picking up a lot of speed in Western countries, in advanced countries, but we are still lagging behind. So most likely the project you have done in your bachelor's, master's would be a quantitative research. Okay, qualitative. So qualitative is, as I said, it is not quantitative. So it deals with quality, like all the open-ended questions and data which is not quantified, which is not expressed in numbers, where we don't get scores like 10 out of 20, 5 out of 20, or 19 out of 20. When there are no certain scores or numbers available as data, then that data is called as qualitative data. And when the research uses qualitative data, then it's called as qualitative research. So why would one decide to use qualitative data? When the focus of research is on the quality of experience, it is not about quantity. For example, as I said before, if we are dealing with not the personality type as, are you an extrovert or not, or how extra, how agreeable you are, how conscientious you are. We are not, we are not concerned with data. We are not concerned with numbers or the quantity of the personality. But we suppose in this project we are concerned about how it feels to be an introvert. We suppose we know already that person is introvert or extrovert. How does it feel to be an introvert? How does it feel to be an extrovert? And making a questionnaire for how it feels to be an introvert might actually reduce the unique experiences, unique expressions, and unique data. It will narrow down the possible answers because you have to pick in questionnaires, in objective questionnaires, you have to pick like one option out of the given five. And it happens many times. Like we have solved so many questionnaires, we have seen so many questionnaires. Many times it happens that these options are not like enough. My answer is between these two options, but there is no such liberty. So when the research actually focuses on the quality of experiences, how does it feel to be an extrovert? And the questions are open-ended, and you have the liberty to give whatever answer that feels right to you. So in these cases, it's possible to capture the unique experiences, unique emotions of the people, and in such scenes, uh, qualitative research is useful. An example could be, some social problems. How does it feel to be an unwanted girl child? It happens that in some families they are really looking forward to have a boy, and especially in rural areas. So how does it actually feel? Because their life is impacted by the feeling that they are not really wanted, or the questions of being homosexual or transgender, and you want to actually capture how it feels, like what are the experiences, and you want to capture the unique expressions and the unique qualities of those experiences, then qualitative research is useful. Here there are two aspects. Either sometimes the variable we are looking at is not quantifiable, that is you can't really put into quantity. Example would be, as I said, gender. If someone really tries to, they may come up with a questionnaire that how male or how female you are, but that wouldn't really capture the essence of feeling being a male or being a female or being a transgender. um, Another example would be nationality. How do you quantify nationality? How do you quantify religion? There is no one spectrum, there is no one continuum where you can place religions. That this comes at number one, this comes at number two. No, these are not quantifiable. So if we are dealing with variables which are not quantifiable by nature, then they're nominal. There is no continuum for them. Then you can't really quantify them. So that's why when you're dealing with these variables, you have to do qualitative research. Another scenario is when as I gave the personality example, the variable is quantifiable. There are personality tests available, but my focus is not on quantified aspects of the variable. I want to look at the unique experiences. My focus is not about the amount, about the scores. Then even when the variable is quantifiable, person can opt for qualitative uh, information, qualitative research. Typical methods used are open-ended questions, interviews, survey questions, hmm, but generally open-ended questions where there are no set options of answer that you have to choose from. Nominative variables like gender, religion, nationality are naturally not quantifiable. That's why they are nominative. They can also be called as qualitative variables.